Okay, we're ready to talk about the fifth roadblock in the series of 6 roadblocks. Number 5 is scaling your project. Most people feel they know what to do. They're just going to twice the speed on the hamster wheel and output will double. That's not the way it works, because you don't want to just 2x your project. If you can't 10x it, you're not scaling it. So you've got to do far greater than that. And in order to achieve that, you're going to need a whole set of rules that are different. So let's talk about how scaling works. Firstly, Americans call this startup phase. Startup for us is, we've got an idea, we want to get some money and turn it into a project. That's not them. Pardon me. They are already at a stage where they already have the project turning over, let's say, $1 million a year or $5 million a year, and they now want to do $100 million a year. How do they do that? By putting in a whole set of management, a whole set of contacts from their theatre of operations around the world, and administration, management, people with good solid skills in scaling their projects. So at that point there, they need to know that you're not now clinging to this project hoping that you're going to learn how to do this, because it takes years and years to do it. You're better off being an observer in there, and the best place to be an observer from is head of the technical advisory panel for that major project. Now, you haven't let go of the project yet, you're still involved in it, and you still own a fair chunk of it, but you're about to now bring in more money and dilute yourself down again as they scale the project from, let's say, earning $50 a day to earning $5,000 a day. And that's sort of the scale that you get. Now, it sounds great, but because you're on a very low end start, because it's a new project, chances are you're not doing too much in turnover. And so this is quite a regular thing. So don't think of it as there's so many times scale up. It's more about just getting to where you should be to realise what the market opportunity is. So what you have to look for is what the skill set is required. And I can pretty much guarantee if you're an inventor, if you're a technician or a scientist in any field or whatsoever, your skill set doesn't include legal, accounting, finance, marketing, sales, HR, or administration of a high growth company. Now, all of these are different hats you have to wear at one point or another. If you aren't prepared to understand that they are not your hats and you need to get people with the full experience and skill set to do that, then your project is going to flounder. You won't get anybody on board. So understand that, yes, you've given away maybe half on your first round of capital, and now they're asking you to give away nearly half again. And that's not a bad thing, because if you do, your project will more than double. It'll probably 10x or more. And at that point there, you're making far more money than if you sat on this and started to grow it business by business, site by site, and grow it out. So it becomes a statewide and then a national project, and then maybe some international sales. You're much better off taking on somebody who brings in different resources, including money, experience, administration skills, and more importantly, that golden Rolodex of the industry you're trying to target, where they know everybody and they can ring people up and say, hey, by the way, take this on. Now, an example I have is a biotech project where we wanted to scale it. At that point there, we knew we couldn't go into the major bio companies, the pharmacology, like Johnson & Johnson and like that. So what we had to do was find intermediaries. Now, the smart move for us was to find somebody who would underwrite this. We did. And he also assured us that he would then, once we got it going with one of the intermediaries, he would buy into that intermediary, which will refine the product so it can then be sold to the big guys. Now, once he's committed to doing that, that company puts him on the board and he says, you now need to buy from these guys back in Australia full-time from now on. So it guarantees our market. At that point there, his investment, which is in both companies, he can now liquidate that investment for far more because it has a full channel all the way through to Johnson & Johnson or wherever he said that those people are selling their projects to or products to. So that scaling is not something that could be done by the scientists here. It was done by people who are doing business in America already, and that's who they targeted. So understand that that's something that you need to do. It's something that you have to have skills to be able to pull all that together, and that in itself is something you may need help with. But ultimately, letting go of the project isn't a bad thing to scale it up, and getting 10 times, 20 times your turnover is not a big thing if your turnover starts off very small. Okay, we'll see you back here for the next one, which is the final roadblock in the 6 roadblocks. And you can access those and all of the others 2-minute guide videos we're doing on our LinkedIn program called Kickstarting Inventions, which is kick-starting inventions in LinkedIn. Join me now. It's a closed group. Thank you.